Hello again, what's up, my friends? Today is June 9th, 2024. Your host, Frank Michelle, as always, and with my good friend and ex-partner, Nelson Correa. And today we're going to bring you some information regarding the upcoming elections of the Miami-Dade Sheriff race. So far, there are
a whole bunch of candidates, right, Frank?
Yeah, so far I think there's like 15, right?
15, I think, the last that I counted.
Now, the interesting thing is, Nelson, you and I have worked with a lot of these people before.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll get to that once again. Now, I want to remind everyone that Miami-Dade is the only county in the state of Florida that for decades has not had an elected sheriff. In regards to violating state law. That's why they call Miami or Miami-Dade the state of Miami-Dade and not part of the state of Florida. That sound familiar to you, Nelson?
Oh yeah, the country of Miami-Dade.
The country of Miami-Dade. And Nelson, tell everybody why is that?
Well, because here in Miami-Dade they do things the way that they want to do them. They don't follow any kind of direction, any kind of state law, anything. They do whatever they want.
You know, that sounds like secession.
But nobody does anything about it.
Well, you know, fortunately, the governor finally put his foot down, and again, for the first time in several decades, we're going to have the chance for the people to elect their law enforcement representative. Now, I say representative because when they're elected, they represent us.
That's true.
They don't represent any special interest or group.
And whoever gets elected, remember this, Frank gets to pick his own staff.
Of course, the new sheriff, which is, you know, new waters to everybody, the powers that he's going to have or she's going to have not been yet outlined.
Well, just to be clear, the sheriff becomes the acting director that we have now. Takes the role of the director, chief of police, if you want to call him.
Well, I never have called him chief of police because
never.
He's not a chief of police. He should be a sheriff. But in order to cover that up, like so many other things that we cover up here in Miami-Dade County, they changed the title to get away from calling him the police chief because that doesn't exist.
That's correct.
So, you know, they play like it's a police department, but it's not. It's a sheriff's office.
That's correct.
Like every
Finally,
other
we're
county.
going to have an elected sheriff by the people, for the people, and we're going to hope that that's what happens and that the politicians don't interfere with his job and his duties, which I don't think he has to because he's not appointed. He'll be elected.
Well, I agree with you on that, but however, it's like I said, like you said, the country of Miami-Dade, and you know, nowhere is there more corruption and public corruption, voter fraud, Medicaid fraud, every kind of fraud. You know, human trafficking is at its height. Well, it's at its height now since we've been actively pursuing it. Because we have no idea before this how high it was. It could have been more than 10 million. Right now they say it's 8 million, but it could have been more, way more.
Well, I saw it personally in Key Biscayne, how they would hire these nannies or housekeepers, pay them very little, give them 1 day a week off, give them food and board, and make them work for, you know, not for sex, but make them work for almost nothing, and the little that they make, they would send to their countries to help out their families. So that was a form of human trafficking, in my opinion, because these people were having illegals at their houses work as maids, nannies taking care of the kids. So I saw it firsthand.
I've seen it too, and the thing about that is that when you pay somebody to work and they're illegal, that's called money laundering.
And they were paying them very, very little.
Of course, because you know what? We want to go back to a state of slavitude. And it's becoming more apparent every single day. Every government has militarized their police departments. So now we don't have police department, we have Gestapo departments. You know? And they know they can get away with whatever they want, because if you sue them, who are you suing? Ourselves. So they don't care if you prevail or not in a lawsuit. They only care about getting away with whatever they want to do.
And that's how it is, unfortunately, for us, the citizens, that we don't have a voice in it, but not with the election of a sheriff. Hopefully we will.
Well, let me tell you, let me give you my opinion about that, Nelson, because I've been in politics for so long. And as you know, every time I run for office, they falsely arrest me. The charges are dropped. But you know what? They kick me out of the race because they put all that out there in the news media, which they pay off, in order for me to not have any support from the citizens, despite the fact that before that, I was a front runner on a couple of these races.
I remember you were, yes.
And, so right now, the police have been militarized, and the way they're doing it is they're using our funds, our money, to give them raises, to give them better contracts, better equipment. Not that they need any more better equipment. I mean, we should catch robbers and thieves in just a police car. No computers, very bad radios, very bad equipped police cars, and we did a heck of a job.
With what we had, we sure did.
And now, even the cops, they want more. No matter what it is, give me more. Give me more money, give me more benefits. I mean, how many more benefits can you have? Because we have such a high population of homeless people, people below the minimum standard of living, but we keep giving these people more and more money and more equipment. I mean, where's it going to end? Because that is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany, in Cuba, in China. They would buy the military and the police in order to express or do as they say.
Oh, I have to say this, when I was a police officer, I didn't complain when we got pay raises, and I welcomed them, so I'm part of that problem when I was there.
Well,
because we always wanted, but we never got good contracts.
Well, I was part of that same situation, but I don't think it was a problem. I mean, we worked, and we really worked. So if we deserved a raise, it was welcome. Just like everybody that does a good job is welcome. The problem is that when they do these contracts, it's a blanket over the entire department. So the laziest person is going to make just as much as the most interested and loyal public servant.
And the chief and his staff get those raises, aside from the raises that they get automatically different than what we get.
Well, not only do they get that, they get a free SUV, they get a clothes allotment.
The expense credit card.
Expense credit card that's not tracked or monitored. They get an allotment for stipend for clothes, to buy suits, shoes, everything. Why do we have to pay for this? Why is it that we have to pay for these people's clothing? The police officer, wear the uniform. We already paid for the uniform. Why do we have to pay for your expense account? Who the hell are you? That we have to pay you for everything you do. Mm-hmm. Free meals, fancy restaurants, bottles of wine. Why? What the hell?
Don't wash you in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's what got a lot of them in trouble. But here we go with one of the first candidates, Ignacio Alvarez. He's an attorney in Coral Gables. Jose Aragu, mayor of the Department He's a major with the Miami-Dade Police Department. Rosanna Rosie Cordero Stutz. They hit on that one. She is subdirector of special services, I guess. Roman J. De La Rue. He's another police officer from Miami-Dade. Alexander Fournier. He's a business owner of, he repairs credit, okay? The credit doctor in Doral. Wow, that's a good one. Jeffrey Giordano. He's a private investigator.
Miami cop.
I'm sorry?
It's a former Miami cop.
Yeah, investigator, private investigator, just like me. Giordano Protection Services. I remember him. Mario Knapp, a retired major, Miami Police Department again. I'm sorry, Miami-Dade Police Department again.
And that's my candidate, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Jose Martinez, he's a retired lieutenant, an ex-commissioner.
Joe Martinez.
Yeah, that was arrested for taking bribes more than once. You know, it's incredible how all these politicians get arrested, none of them are guilty. They are, I'm not guilty, it's all a lie. But when one of us gets arrested, shame on them. And then we got John Rivera.
John is a good candidate. He's a PBA president for many years.
Yeah, he is with the Miami-Dade PBA Association. Ernesto Rodriguez, he's a lieutenant for Miami-Dade Police Department. Joe Sanchez, former commissioner of Miami, and he's currently a Florida Highway Patrol officer.
He's a public information officer.
Yeah,
And that's what he's always been.
Exactly. I remember when he used to go out with us for our roadblocks. We were trying to enforce the DUI statutes and try to save people's life from people that were intoxicated. And he would go there and practically do nothing. But he was
just a presence.
Just a present, and then he would write that information down as the work he did. I remember that. Don't you?
I remember.
Okay, Ricky Michel. He's also a lieutenant, retired from the Miami-Dade Police Department. James Reyes. He's chief of security of Miami-Dade County. I don't know what the title is. Susan Kurki, sorry about that. Former special agent of the Inspector General of, Inspector General, Federal Inspector General, and John Brown. He's a major for the Miami Police Department as well. So these are the people that we have to pick. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what I see, Nelson. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay? If we're going to start in all honesty, with an elected sheriff that's a civilian, I don't see how we're going to do it with this lot of people where they're all just retired or still working as cops.
I will credit more a working cop because he knows what's needed than I would a civilian that has no idea or has a general idea but doesn't know what a police department, how it runs.
Well, the only thing I disagree on you with that is that the problem is that, remember, just like we're all trained, okay, they're going to come in with the same mentality, the same training. So how are we expect to have change when, you're trained to act a certain way and do certain things the old-fashioned way? And I don't have a problem with having a police officer in that position, There's a lot of credit to what you said, but my problem is that every time we elect one of these people, okay, within a month, they're on the same bandwagon as everybody else because they don't want to make any waves.
But remember, this time is a little different, Frank, because now it's elected by the citizens. Before, appointed by the city manager or county manager,
Okay.
they respond to the commission.
Right.
So they have a lot of pressure, political pressure to remain in office to do as they're told.
But see-
Now, they cannot do anything to them because only the public can outcast them.
Well, see, and that's a question, because nobody has spoken about how do we recall and elect a sheriff? I know you can, that's state statute, it happened in Broward. So how do we do that here, and how do we gauge whether they're effective or not? Who is going to be oversighting whether the work is done properly, efficiently?
Well, the news media will take care of that.
The problem with that, Nelson, is that, every news media, everybody says it, they're just selling out to whoever gives them more advertising money or more time to spread whatever news or articles they want. That's the problem we've had here in Miami-Dade County for several decades because, the Miami-Herald is one of the biggest liars that there ever was. And the biggest sellout. And that's why the Miami-Herald has diminished to a point where they're out of existence. At one point, the Miami Times did do in-depth investigations and reviewed a lot of things. Remember the college for dollar?
I remember.
The fatal shootings. Okay, I mean, those were articles that were explosive and changed a lot of the things that we do here and saved taxpayers millions of dollars and put some so-called elected or appointed officials in jail.
College for dollars, by the way, is a good topic for another
And we will,
taping.
and we should do that.
We
However,
were part of that, but we were not involved.
no, actually,
But we were part of it.
we were thrown out of that position because we blew the whistle on it.
Yeah, because it was abusive what was happening.
It was grand larceny.
Like I said, that's a topic for another show.
Exactly. So let's continue on this with the sheriff's candidates. I can tell you right now, until I hear a 5-year plan or a 3-year plan and how we're going to address the biggest issue here is public corruption. And I know the biggest problem that we have here is the reason why it's so cancerous is because we still have an old state attorney, Fernandez Rondo, that's been in office for more than 22 years, and she has no term limits. However, everybody else has term limits, even the sheriff.
What is the sheriff's term limit?
4 years.
4 years.
Okay?
Does he have he cannot be a sheriff again after 4 years?
No, he can run twice, like everybody else, every politician. You have 4 years and a chance to run for a second election, which is the Democratic way, or the Republic way, I like to say. And I haven't seen anything that jumps out at me from anybody here that says, I want to do this, like this, like this, and like this. I want to have a special unit that's going to concentrate solely on public corruption. And the problem that I see with that, and the reason why most of them haven't even come on and talked about that, is because, of course, people are donating money to their campaign, special interest groups, and that's my fear that is going to happen, or is happening here already.
I tend to agree.
And that's why we need more information on any one of us, and that's why I really don't want to endorse anybody that's a former or present police officer. Again, because I believe that they're just trained in the bureaucracy and nothing's going to change, and this is the way it's done, and we're just going to keep going.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with the elections and who comes in office and what changes, if any, are done.
Well, that's the thing. What changes, if any, are done? We are mandating changes. We're sick of our money being misspent. We're sick of our money, of our citizens being abused. Tell me that 70% of the people that is arrested in Miami-Dade County aren't black.
No, I don't have those stats, so I can't.
Well, I can tell you for sure that it is true. Now, you go into the prison system. I would say that 80% of the corrections officers are black. So, I mean, it's like you hire people to take care of the same people, but you don't do proactive programs to try to keep those people out of jail or prison. Because remember, Nelson, we've all been run by a numbers system, and whether or not you reduce crime or not, the only thing they're interested at the end of the month is how many people did you arrest, how many tickets did you write.
Yeah, that's all they care about, the statistics.
And what has been your experience about that?
Well, I had some very bitter experiences about that because we were part of a crew that I worked at that were, since we bid for positions that were all senior officers.
Right.
And we were called the flatliners because they said that we didn't do anything. We did handle our calls, but we were not proactive, meaning that we didn't go out there and look for arrests and make arrests. If an arrest needed to be made, it was made. But we didn't go stopping cars and searching and see what we could find and hitting crack houses because we were already a mature group. So I was told to go one time in front of Chief Timony, may he rest in peace wherever he belongs.
Exactly. You mean the guy that committed fraud for over a year by having the Lexus for free, while still getting a stipend for the car.
Correct.
And that is grand theft, electronic wire transfer fraud, and grand larceny. Nothing
happened.
Nothing happened. Okay. But you and I will still be in jail.
He would grill you in these staff meetings where you had to present the statistics for your crew. And I was chosen to do that for my crew because we didn't have much to show. We had other crews coming up with 40 arrests, 50 arrests. Of course, they arrest the same guy 10 times.
Or made up the arrest or the names.
Made up the arrest 10 times.
I remember
They will have A forms, arrest reports with the fingerprints already, 10 or 15 done at the same time, and they were kept in the cars. So whenever they needed to make an arrest, they would just fill out the information, and it looked like they arrested the same guy, and no actual physical arrest was done. But that's also a topic for another show.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But I had to present the stats, and the stats that I presented was that we towed 37 cars. That we made the city a little bit better place to live and got rid of cars where kids were hanging in and doing drugs, having sex, sleeping. So we created more parking spaces for our citizens, and the chief actually stood up and gave me an applause for doing something. There wasn't all the arrests and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't fraud. You're really doing police work, public service. Now we have so many homeless that they gotta sleep in their cars because they have no place to go.
That's correct.
However, we have this Francisco Suarez of Mayor Miami who spent $26 million of our taxpayers' money defrauding us by traveling around the world to make himself look presidential and meeting all these leaders, so-called world leaders.
At our expense.
At our expense, including Epstein.
Wow.
He's on the list that visited Epstein. Okay? There's no accountability. There's no auditing. I know that he's being investigated by several federal agencies, and it's about time. But really, nobody here is held accountable. You know, they look the other way, and again, that's the fault of our state attorney, or non-existing state attorney, that even her own Democratic Party, the last time she ran, said, we don't want you to run.
That's embarrassing, but
If
people are used to her name, so they automatically vote for her.
well, if you're a fraudster and a criminal, you don't care what people say or think. You just care about, you know, the power and the money. And that's why our nation, our entire nation, is under attack. Just look at what happened in France a couple of days ago. Can you believe that?
Amazing.
France was taken over by illegal aliens, demanding money, food, and everything else for free. But Nelson, I know we're short on time. My friends, we shall continue this on our next show, and I promise you it will be very revealing. Thank you very much. God bless you, and I don't care who cares or wants to spit in my face. I'll return the favor. God bless Trump.